For many of you, math was always a problem in school or university. And today I talked to Mike Todasco, and he has this great idea of teaching everybody through what they are really connected to, like learning your math or whatever topic it is through, let's say, baseball. You're interested in baseball, and your teacher, in this case, the AI, would just make everything about baseball for you, and you would love to learn suddenly about this and other things, as Mike was the senior director of innovation at PayPal, we talk in this interview. And yes, it's an interview episode again. Welcome back to the Beginner's Guide to AI. It's Dietmar again from Argo Berlin at the microphone. And without further ado, we dive deep into this interview. Yeah, so before I talk too much about Mike, as you all know, I don't like this PR things that other people write about people and then I would read. I just give the mic to Mike. But first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Dietmar, thank you for having me. Excited to be here with you today.
And what did bring you into AI?
I'm always been curious about technology in general. Like I'm not a technologist by background. My background was in finance and accounting, but I've just always been attracted to tech. And I was a person who, 20 plus years ago had a robot lawnmower. And things like that. Like, I mean, I was just always the person tinkering, buying, playing with stuff, all that. Uh, I got a job at PayPal in 2011 is when I started at the company. And machine learning, as we more often referred to AI stuff at the time, was a huge part of the PayPal's business. Because when you're doing billions and billions of transactions, you can't identify the bad guys, secure the company, do all the things that you need to do in security and risk. That can't just be done with traditional computing methods. So, it was very world class in doing many things with machine learning back then. I got very involved in that world at the company. I eventually led innovation at PayPal, which was like the best job ever. And then when I left PayPal, this was 2022, in mid 2022. And at that time, I was actually aggravated that people weren't talking about AI in the general public more because to me, it was like just very clear, like this was an emerging technology that was about to change everything, with like GPT-3 and technologies like that were out there. So I just started writing about it. And just because I felt nobody else was. And then, a few months later, ChatGPT comes out, that starts to change everything and so forth. But like that was and I'm still very much involved in work with companies in the space. I'm at a university at their AI center, so do a lot of things with AI still.
Oh, this is both things are interesting for me, business and AI and teaching. This is both
Yeah.
of the things. Yeah, business. Obviously, we have a business audience, but also some people here at universities or schools. Also, uh,
Yeah.
this is a thing. Do you use AI for teaching or
Yeah.
for research or what do you use? How do
Yes. The
you?
answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Um, yeah, no, Dietmar, it is for look, if I were if I were teaching younger kids right now, this is one thing I like to put out there to anybody who is a teacher. You should be using these tools. To me, the be all end all of this. When I grew up as a kid in America, we had these things called baseball cards. And so they were little pieces of cardboard with a picture of a baseball player on one side with all these numbers and statistics on the back of it. And I learned how to do math by basically reading these cards because I would obsess with these cards. Like it was like a secret puzzle. And to me, if all of my classes were giving me programs related to baseball, all my problems and so forth in math were baseball problems, like I would have loved that. I would have loved that so much. And for every kid, there's an unlock. And this is one of the things that AI can do. Like if you were teaching math to, let's just say 10-year-old kids, you can do this. You can unlock, you can say, hey, what is it that you like? What is it that you like? Get all this in there, put this into a large language model, and it could literally customize so every single student in your class gets different homework. That could be done easily today. You can even build it off of there, like, well, maybe some are going to focus more on this, some are going to focus more on this. Those things, like, this is all emerging. These are things that can be done with ChatGPT and other tools that are even out there right now. And that's just one example of using the tools that are out there today to make a teacher's life easier, but to be able to make it so that the students in the class are way more engaged. And, whenever often a lot of teachers at my kids' school will, they'll put their kids' names, various kids' names in the class in the problems, for example. And that gets people excited. That even gets adults excited to see their own name. Like all of these things are just like, it sounds like such a simple little thing, but like that is just one of probably millions of different unlocks in the education system that can make education better that you couldn't have done before. That would have been way too much work for a teacher. But now, oh my gosh, have an AI do all that for you and then just print out 30 different copies and hand it out to the students.
Yeah. And it's not like I just substitute this is the same problem with different labels on it, but I can the ChatGPT can or whatever AI you use can adjust the problem for the level for the topic. I mean, the idea with the
Yeah.
topic, the level. Everybody talks about, yeah, you can adjust to the level, but the motivational part that is great. Love it.
Absolutely. Yes. No, motivation levels, language, whatever it might be, there's so many different ways to do that and to customize it. I do think for the teachers, for the school systems that embrace this, like they are going to be so far ahead of the places that are not embracing it. That just saying, well, that's how we taught school back in the 1990s and 2000s. That's how we should always teach school. No, no. I mean, it should evolve. It should change. And like, this is a gift in many ways that has been given to us as educators. And it's up to us to be able to use it in the best way to serve our students.
I have just this. There's my 1953 or 56 story from Isaac Asimov, where the teacher in school is like everybody has their own teacher, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's like. But he was visionary in this. Yeah.
You have that today. I mean, you really have that. So one of the other things we do when we're sometimes going to school, we will turn on voice mode in ChatGPT. And if one of the, and while we're driving to school, we will, through the speaker system in the car, have our kids talk to ChatGPT and just have a conversation about like a test that they're going to have today. Maybe they're having a test on biology or chemistry, and it's this level say, hey, ChatGPT, can you quiz us on this, quiz my kid on this, and make the questions a little bit harder each time they answer it correctly and a little easier each time they answer it incorrectly. And it could do that. It could do that. And all of these things that I'm describing are free. Or free or 20 bucks a month or whatever it calls or whatever it costs, but I mean they're free or relatively free to do that, and that is just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, this if you have to pay someone to teach your child something like that, that's like between 10, 20 dollars, euros an hour. So this is the monthly fee. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
And here's what I would say. Like, say I wanted to learn German. What I would probably do is I would do both. I mean, I would probably make it so, hey, ChatGPT, while I'm driving in my car, I want you to like help me learn German. Remember the words I remember the ones I don't, fix me on my pronunciation, all this other kind of stuff. Do that. But then I would probably also, in addition to that, I would probably also go on a site like oh, not Upwork. There's some sites that actually specialize in this, like with languages and so forth.
Yeah.
And I would get a human tutor once a week as well and balance that. But it's like I would advance so much farther in learning German by being able to do that in the car, learning German, have an AI with you. It's going to be better than Duolingo. It's going to be better than any of those things because it actually can listen to you as part of that. But then also supplement with a human, somebody who's actually there, who's a native speaker, who knows how to do this. Like that's a great thing. I don't see. we're not going to get to a point where we don't need teachers anymore because it's about the relationship. The relationship the teacher has with the student is what matters most.
Yeah.
It's not grading papers. It's not any of that kind of stuff. It's like sitting there looking you in the eye and having a discussion and really talking to you, understanding your needs and so forth. That's what an AI can't do. So let humans do more of that. Let AI do all the other stuff.
That is actually interesting coming from academics to business. I mean, the problems are different but the same kind of, no? It's like uh, the human in the loop or the AI or what's your position? Will AI replace lots of jobs or is it like the same like with you say with language learning now?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, I think there's no denying it. It is going to replace jobs. But I do think people will be doing different things. The internet replaced tons of jobs. We just kind of look at what the most common professions are over, in 20, 25-year tranches over time. It changes drastically and has changed drastically over the last 100 plus years. That's going to continue to happen and that's going to accelerate. There will still be jobs. That's not going away anytime in the foreseeable future. Like, could there be a future? Maybe. I mean, but I truly don't see us getting to that point. Um, but jobs are going to change. They're going to evolve, and AI is going to be at the center of all of those jobs that you have. If you're a customer service agent, if you're dealing with customers on the phone or over email all day, there's going to be an AI there to help you. It's going to help you be more effective. It's going to help you get to the right data. It's going to help coach you. It's going to do whatever it might be. And maybe the AI is going to take all the easy things and it's going to leave the more complex things or the things that need emotion because somebody's really upset on the other side or whatever it might be. We're going to figure this out. It's going to be messy. When we transitioned as a society from agriculture to the industrial world, and frankly, when we transitioned from industrial world to the information world that we're in today, it gets messy in between. There are jobs lost, and I don't want to be dismissive of that. Um, but I think, net jobs will exist. We will have that, but like we all need to know as a society, it's going to be bumpy as we get to whatever that endpoint is going to look like.
Yeah, makes sense. Like transitions are always a stage where there's insecurity, but I mean,
Yes.
I love the positive approach that yeah, we'll figure that out, okay, with the turmoil phase, but yeah, like things. What do you think are our abilities that what won't AI reach soon?
Oh. Um, what won't AI replace? There is something to be said for we are attracted to humans. And I'll just give an example. On Netflix, there is a documentary about the 2024 men's basketball Olympics. Germany did great in it, US, France, Serbia, all these teams in there, it was behind the scenes in it and so forth. And I will say, like, I live in San Francisco, where Steph Curry lives and plays, and that is something where, just as an example, we love that imperfection, the imperfection of sports. And it applies to many things other than sports, but sports is one thing that can resonate. People can resonate. Toyota has recently created robots that can make like 2,500 free throws in a row, like in basketball. Like it just kept going. They literally had to unplug it and they're like, okay, we're done. Like it just wouldn't miss. They thought they would go until it missed. And then finally they're just like, we've literally been here all day. We just need to move on. That's not interesting. Nobody is going to go watch robots shoot baskets. Like it is, you might just see it for a novelty, but after 5 minutes, nobody is going to go to Paris to see and cheer on their country and like their country's robot. Nobody cares about that. We care about human performance. And those are the things that matter. Um, I don't see doctors going away because even if an AI could diagnose you better, the messenger in between, the person talking to you, the person looking you straight in the eye and having that conversation with you, like those are things that we actually need and can use. Like there is something about the human connection, as much as perfect, as great as an AI can be, it is never ever going to be a human. And especially for face-to-face interactions, things like that, there are going to be many times where a human is just going to be wanted just because, even if it's less efficient than an AI.
Yeah, I see that like the first example what you say was basketball, but I just thought about those chess games. I mean,
Yeah.
chess computers are better. I mean, I don't play much chess, but computer were always since I played, they were always better than me. Still, I played chess with people because it was more fun.
Yes,
Just
yeah, and
frankly
and
speaking.
that's right. I mean, everyone 25 years ago, IBM built a computer, beat Gary Kasparov, and this was literally in the 1990s this happened. Like computers beat humans in chess. And prognosticators at the time were like, well, nobody's going to play chess anymore. Like, are we done because the computer does it better? No, no, there's more people playing chess today than there was 25 years ago. And you're right, just because a computer does it better, it's not interesting to us. No, we love that. We love the competition. So and that's why I feel with like books and entertainment and things like that. If an AI, and it can't today, to be very clear, like an AI cannot write a better book than a human being. It's not even close. Will an AI be able to? Probably. But if an AI can do that, are we going to read those? Sometimes. But are we also going to be attracted to human written books? Absolutely. Because we know one layer deeper. Oh, that's the guy who did this. Or that person was nice to me. I met them at a convention or something and I got an autograph or whatever. Like we get these connections and those are the kind of things that really matter to us.
Mhm. I mean, but assistant roles are totally normal in the future, I guess, no?
So like administrative assistants and things like that, like those
Or
can.
writing your book. I remember this thing with if you have ebooks in Amazon and they tell you people they drop your book on page 25, do something there. And then you're going
Oh,
into that helps you make your book better, or then you ask the AI, what could I do better? And then as a human, you make something out of it.
yeah. Look, so I write a lot. I have a blog about AI and things that anybody can follow out there. And whenever I'm writing something, I'm using an AI a ton to help me out with my writing. Um, it helps me do research faster. It helps me fact check. It does all these other things and it helps me do that on the fly. And I use that really well it works great for blogging. But I am also writing books. And with those books, I have a human editor as well. So I will write the first draft. I will then use tools like Claude or ChatGPT to ask it questions, to actually have it do some of the grunt work before it gets to that human editor, and then I pass it off to that human editor. So, today there are circumstances where I use both. Um, you know, Will that change in the future? I don't know. I kind of like having a human being on the other side to just, because one of the things you'll find out if people use these large language models a lot, they're trying to please you. So even if you wrote garbage, generally speaking, it's going to tell you, oh, this is really good. This is really innovative. This is really whatever. And sometimes it's like, no, this is just trash. It's meant to please you. And that's not what you want. Sometimes you just want a human being saying, hey, Mike, this is garbage. You need to start over. And like, it's hard to get an AI to do that sometimes.
I remember those things, those singing shows, the casting shows where someone
Yes.
comes and is totally surprised that she is not singing very well because everybody told her she's singing well. And no, no, no.
And that's and in some ways, that's what AIs do now. And anybody can try this. Just write something, drop it in there, and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, what do you think about this?" You will be shocked. It will probably say like, "Oh yeah, this is really good." I mean, it's very positive. And again, like maybe for most things, that's fine. But if you just keep on putting trash in there, it will just think it's all good. And then, yeah, it might give you a little bit diluted as to what actually is good or not.
Actually, it's a funny part of AI literacy, not only to learn prompting, but also to better evaluate results. No, it's like you have to know
Yes.
why the engine answers was what. Uh,
Yeah. Um, Look, the more you understand about the underlying technology, the better off you're going to be in just knowing what it's good at and what it's not good at. And yeah, if somebody's just coming off the street and just says, "Well, AI said it was great and it's really smart," yeah, they don't know that. And that's why it's good to play with these tools. It's good to understand where their shortcomings are and the things they really are good at. And know that that will also change over time. There isn't a feature named the tools I know of, but you could prompt it and say, "Hey, I actually want you to be really critical of this." You could say things like that, and that will sort of get it out of that pleasing mode. Um, but you got to do what's right for you with this. And again, it's a little bit of an art form just to be the human working with these.
yeah. Yeah, no, this is like I see this is a typical problem, and if I take this into the other area, business, then it's a problem because then it's about competition. I mean, if I
Yeah.
talk about a casting show, it's nice. I mean, you are there, and it's like, nah, but business, suddenly your firm has a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it could say like, "Oh yeah, this strategy is brilliant. You're going to make millions of dollars doing this or whatever," when in reality, any first year MBA student would look at it and say like, "Oh no, that's not that's not going to work." So yes, that is something you need to be really careful of in business for sure. Then that's why, for today you need a human in the loop. A human evaluation on this thing, not just accepting everything that AI says is to be truth.
So we need the editors.
Yes.
Talking about you did do work with a lot of businesses. What do you think are their biggest problems, their biggest challenges now with the AI?
I think the biggest problem for most existing businesses is they're not using it enough. That's the honest challenge. They have existing workflows, and those existing workflows are really inefficient. I work with a lot of startups, and what teams of like one or two people can do with a whole host of AIs that they can work with really well. Um, and it actually makes me feel bad for the much larger businesses who don't have that and who have these workflows and who need to find a way to change. So that's to me the biggest risk of any business with AI is just not using the AI as much as they can and should be because of bureaucracy, because of data issues, because of whatever. It's just having all of these reasons that are preventing you from doing that while, the competition you didn't even know about starts doing it again and again and again and starts taking over.
Do you have a startup example? You don't need to name names, but where people really used AI?
I can say there's one company that I've been working with, and they actually had a little bit of a pivot recently to doing something completely different. And from an engineering perspective, they now have probably a third of the engineers they used to, and probably 2x the output that they used to. And I think that is probably not going to be that's fairly typical, I think, of companies who are going to be AI first. Um, Companies like Cursor. So Cursor is
Yeah.
one that has an AI tool that I think actually surpassed ChatGPT as the fastest tool to 100 million users, if I'm getting the metric right. Um, or $100 million, maybe $100 million, something like that. I forget what it was exactly, but I mean, net is like this is growing really fast. Where I live in Silicon Valley in California, there is a little bit of a worry that, software unemployment is going up much higher and much faster than the rest of the economy. And software is the one area where there is more and more AI being used. Just if you're an engineer not using these AI tools, you're probably getting left behind in some way. So engineers are embracing it in part because they have to, but it's also just allowing them to do so much more than they have been in the past. When I taught to students at school, when I taught to them in 2023, let's say, when I was talking to them about like doing what they're going to do after school, I basically told them, hey, learn about these tools because you're going to enter a company. Nobody's going to know how to use these AI tools, but you are. And that is going to make you special and stand out. When I talk to them today, I don't have that same message exactly. And this is again to your earlier question about where we're going with all of the job loss and so forth. The one thing I'm pretty confident on is solopreneurs. So an entrepreneur of one, like you see there's a business opportunity, you want to solve that, serve a customer, be lightning focused. You have a legion of AIs working for you at your direction on building that out. Like I see that being a quite common business model that is replicatable for a long time going forward in the future. At other companies, especially entry level jobs, I don't know. This is the disruption we were talking about
Yeah.
before. I think it's already starting to happen with software engineers, and I think it's going to start to expand to other parts as well.
Yeah, there's this research. The unemployment rate of software engineers doubled, and this is the first thing people do that develop AI. They go for software because they are software engineers, and it's
Yes,
just the
yes.
first vertical. Yeah, yeah,
That was always the arguments during the 2010s about startups here in Silicon Valley. The problems that we're solving were the problems they needed. And basically, these were a bunch of guys in their 20s who weren't living with their mom anymore. So like Uber was, getting you to drive to places, and there was like, having food delivery and all this other kind of stuff. It was like all the things your mom used to do with you for you. That was what these software builders were
yeah,
building out in the
yeah, yeah.
2010s.
No, really, like, what do you think? Where is the energy of, let's say, AI literacy best put to work on businesses or at universities teaching people or schools or in the education system?
I think, I mean, AI is just going to proliferate everywhere. It's going to be in the software we're using. It's going to be a part of all of our workflows. I do not, despite working at a university and, part of a research center there, like, I don't think you have to go to a university to learn about
Mm.
AI. The great thing about AI and AI tools is the best way to learn them is just to learn by doing. Like, people ask me all the time, Mike, do I need to read your blog post? Do I need to take your class or do I need to take this class or watch this YouTube video? And look, all of that stuff is fine. I'm not going to say you can't or shouldn't do that. But honestly, the best way for 99.99% of the population to learn how to use AI is just by using AI. And here's the great thing, and this is so different than software that we've used in the past. If you're not sure about it, if you don't know how to use it or what to do, you just say, hey, I don't know what to do with you. I don't like you. I'm confused about you. I'm whatever. And just talk to it. Type, use your voice, use whatever method you want to as an input device. Do it in English, do it in German. It doesn't matter. These things are multimodal, they're multi-language. However, it is that you want to communicate with these things, they're going to be able to interpret that and work with you. And as long as you make your intentions clear, like I'm an AI skeptic, I've tried to use you in the past, I've never found a use. Can you work with me over the next week on finding a way that I'm going to be able to put you to use in my life and find you to be useful? Great. You could literally, anybody can take that prompt, and within a few hours, you're probably going to be opened up. Your eyes are going to be opened up wide, like, wow, I, I didn't know I could do this, or this helps me so much with this part at work, or this really helps me out at home doing this, or whatever it might be. And that's the beauty about these tools.
Yeah, yeah. It's really the tool that teaches you about how to use itself. It's like great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's completely unique. And that's why I think and that's why I almost have to say it because we haven't experienced that before. It's never been like hey, I don't know how to use like my computer, so I'm just going to like, well, no, if you don't know, like as long as you get to the computer, as long as you can get to the web page or the app or whatever it is, then you just ask it. So you've learned all those steps. Now you just have to ask it the question.
That's great. No, that's an interesting point. Where do you personally use the AI
Everywhere.
in you just wanted to clarify business, private, whatever, but everywhere. Yeah.
I'm actually going into my chat GPT just to kind of see what I had on there. So within the last day, I have asked it about the benefits of eating blueberries versus pomegranate in my diet, specifically within my diet, because it has all my health information in there, so it knows about that. What's the best? I had to do a search for me to what is the bank with the highest interest rate right now. So it like searched like 40 different websites to be able to find that out for me. Um, I actually thought my beard was growing faster than it had been in the past. And so I asked it about that. I'm like, is that normal? What could cause a beard to do that? Dinner recipes. One of my kids might have been sick. Something about like some business research, more recipes, yada, yada, yada. And that's like within the last day.
Yeah.
Those are all things you can do. And that's why it really is limitless with the potential for this. And especially with one like ChatGPT, where it actually keeps memory of you, it's really nice when it starts to actually get to know you. Because then it will customize the responses a little bit closer to what you want, or it might remember something you said a couple months ago and tie that in and so forth. So, like, you know, that's a really nice feature that all these have.
Yeah. There's still some work that has to go into the memory function, I guess,
Yeah.
like from them, but also from yourself, and can update it or make custom GPTs or so. But it's already there, and it's already, yeah, at our fingertips. Interesting. Yeah, it's the same for me. If I look to what I have there, it's like really crazy. From the last thing
Yeah.
I did was I needed for my accountant. She wanted to know the exchange rate of dollar to euro for booking,
Yeah.
and in at that certain date for whenever the exchange was happening, the transfer was happening. And I was like, yeah, I could do that, but I can just ChatGPT give the
Go into
dates, and then
ChatGPT with
yeah,
internet search or
yeah,
Perplexity or one of those, and
yeah,
it will
and
get you and it will even tell you the source of that, and you can send all that over. Exactly.
so it's really like, and that's actually the thing for the people out. Yeah, it really just use it for everything, and even if it's not quicker, you learn something. It's like
Yeah. It might not be quicker up front, but it will be soon enough. Like if I think of just some of the research, like I'm writing an article right now about AI slop. And so AI slop is just kind of mindless. The amount of stuff that, and it's going to be ever increasing on the internet, that is just mindless generated AI stuff that is going to be out there and kind of flooding the internet. But I've been just doing a lot of research with it, and using Perplexity, using ChatGPT with internet access. Deep research is another feature that has been introduced in XAI's Grok, Google's Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. So there's four different flavors of deep research where it will just go out and just like, look at 30, 40, sometimes 100 plus sources and kind of come back to you with like a little paper in 5 minutes of like to educate you on whatever subject it is that you want. Like those are features that, yeah, like will save time. So I think in the beginning it's going to take you more time, but once you start to really realize it, it's going to take less and less time to do this, and it's going to start to save you a ton of time.
this is the time saving is one thing, and there's the last question I have for the interview, and that would be like, what's the danger? Is the most so the Terminator question, the Matrix question.
Yeah.
Do you think that is any probability? What do you think about that?
Um, Look, the dangers I see today, let's start that and then we'll get into the future. Terminator's not happening in 2025. Um, Today, what is going to happen is things like people falling asleep at the wheel. And the concept of that is an AI seems to be good. It's only 99% accurate. You just like, okay, just let the AI run. And in the 1% of the cases where it is inaccurate, that's slipping through. And it could, embarrass you at work, or worse, it could get you into a accident because you're in a driverless car, whatever it might be. Um, those are the things I think that are going to be more. I mean, we talked about job loss and the disruptions from that. That is real. That is going to be happening. Um, but I think going forward, like that is the biggest threat that I see now. Terminator type scenarios, like I don't know. I like I don't think it is very likely to have that. I think it is a very interesting story narrative. To me, one of the most interesting angles on that is that these AIs have actually been trained somewhat by the fiction that we write about them. Like that, if you ask an AI about Terminator or Metropolis or any AI movie or book or 2001, anything like that, ask them about any of those things, AI is going to know about it. And so, in some ways, we have taught an AI, we have used this as the training method to like, well, this is how an AI should act. Like we have kind of created this in some ways. So could it be a self-fulfilling prophecy? Eh, Probably not. Is there a chance? Sure, sure. There's a chance of that. But with the benefits that I see to healthcare, with just like human productivity, with improving our lives, with all of these things that we have like in front of us, like to me, I see this as very much being a net positive. There's nothing in life that is just pure positive with no negative. The internet, I think, has been a net positive. There's more good things, but there are absolutely some bad things that come with that. AI is going to be the same. But I'm very much at the camp of like, there's going to be more good than there is bad. And I'm hoping the Terminator doesn't happen.
Actually, I love this that we shouldn't have made those movies to
Yeah, we didn't know
self-fulfilling
we're giving all this
prophecy.
training material,
Yeah,
or we should have at least suppressed it. So when you
yeah,
ask an AI about, hey, give me some examples of AI gone bad, it's like, oh, I didn't think an AI could go bad.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
that's
just it's
better.
just
That's better.
Wally and stuff like this
Yeah,
of
it's all
those
Wally.
movies.
Yeah,
Great, thank you. So,
yeah,
Mike, the last thing for today, where can people find you? Where can they connect to you and your
yeah.
blog? And
Absolutely. No, Dietmar, thank you for having me. And people want to find me. I'm best on LinkedIn. I'm the only Mike Todasco on there. So you could just follow me on LinkedIn and follow my newsletter. And if you got a specific question, send me a direct message, reach out. Always happy to help with that in any way I can.
great. I will put actually the link in the show notes, but yeah, Mike Todasco is easy to find, and that's a great thing. So yeah, thank you for the great inspiration you gave us here. And I love to talk to people that talk about university and teaching because this is one of my passions, and this is really a thing. Business is important, but how to get the next generation going, yeah, this is
That's important. That's
yeah.
important. Yes. Yep.
AI
Noted for me.
natives. Yeah. So thank you for that I could pick your brain here. And yeah, let's see what 2025 brings us. And yeah,
Sounds good. Thank you, Dietmar. Thanks for having me.
wow, a great interview again. So what I loved most was that with our movies, with our literature, we made doom more probable. So the Terminator scenario in itself, yeah, dooms us for being victims of the Terminator scenario. Interesting thought. Yeah, no, but also the teaching stuff I really loved because you all people, I work in the pedagogics department, and this is actually a thing that really would help make learning better for the people. Yeah, so thanks for listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube video. Don't forget to follow on the argoberlin.com/newsletter or in your favorite podcasting app, and hope to have you back again in the next episode. Signing off, Dietmar from argo.berlin.